Hello, my name is Garrett. Today, I will tell you about different teaching methods in English. I will especially focus on CLIL method. Many people who started and then stopped learning English eventually became convinced that they simply do not have the ability for languages. I want to argue, everyone has abilities. It's just that not everyone has found a suitable course and methodology. There is just one thing. Not every approach is effective for you personally. So, how do you know which method to choose for training? Let's figure it out together. Communicative approach. The communicative approach is a technique that allows you to learn English through communication. It is based on a large amount of conversational practice and a minimum of theory. Lessons in such course are structured so that the student and teacher communicate in English from the first minute of the lesson. This helps to avoid the most common problem of language learners. I know, but I can't say. When communicating with a teacher, a student crosses the psychological barrier, fear and embarrassment to speak English. He hears the speech of the interlocutor, learns to perceive different accents by ear, remembers grammatical structures and their logic in order to later use them himself. This is no cramming of rules and words. The communicative approach teaches all this through live dialogue. Regular speaking practice helps to improve your pronunciation. The teacher immediately teaches how to pronounce sounds so that later the student can repeat them using the example of different words and remember the sound. Over time, speech becomes more confident, diction improves, and it becomes easier to control intonation. I select topics for lessons in communicative methods courses so that they are interesting to discuss. During such conversations, the student remembers new vocabulary that he hears from the teacher. Idioms, set expressions, synonyms, cliché phrases, and much more. The more practice, the wider the vocabulary, the fewer pauses in speech, and the richer the remarks. Project methodology. Project-based learning is an approach in which a student learns English while working on small projects. It all starts with a live question or problem that the teacher introduces to the student. For example, the teacher asks him to think about how he would organize a fundraiser for a charity in his community. The student's task is to learn more about the problem or use his own experience to find a solution to the problem in English. If we talk about our example, make a plan for charitable collection. Tasks using the project methodology can be both creative and research. For example, write a story, write a letter to the mayor, organize assistance to the homeless, create an advertising slogan, etc. This approach is also useful for those studying business English. In their case, the project will be related to entrepreneurial knowledge. For example, a student might think of a plan that would help a small business survive a lockdown. And while the student is working on the task, he will be able to learn new vocabulary on the topic, improve his speaking and listening in conversations with the teacher, and improve his grammar. CLIL, or Subject-Language Integrated Learning, is a technique in which a student simultaneously learns both a language and another subject. The program in this approach is structured so that they complement each other. As a result, English becomes a means to study another subject, and that, in turn, becomes a topic for language practice. This second subject can be knowledge that is needed for work, hobbies, or other household activities. For example, there are courses for managers, doctors, IT employees. Here, specialists can simultaneously improve their professional skills and English for work. Study special vocabulary that is in use in their field. Improve business correspondence skills. Prepare for interview questions. Analyze business cases and interviews with market giants in English. Role-play situations that may arise at work. Learn to negotiate with colleagues, partners, and clients. In order for the students to achieve the goal, I maintain a balance between language and specific skills in the program. This is how the CLIL technique helps to achieve better results and kill two birds with two stones. Subject-language integrated learning, or CLIL, is one of the most interesting and widespread approach to teaching foreign languages, including English. Many teachers successfully use topics and materials from other subjects in their lessons without even realizing that this technique has a name. CLIL principles. The term content and language integrated learning was coined by David Marsh in 1994. But in fact, this method has been widespread since ancient times. The key principles of the subject-language integrated learning approach are based on two basic concepts: language and integration. CLIL is conventionally divided into hard CLIL and soft CLIL. Hard CLIL means that any school subjects can be taught in English, provided it is the student's L2. During such a lesson, students explore geography, literature, biology, physics, or even sports through a foreign language. English teachers use soft CLIL, and their goal is the opposite: to learn a foreign language using topics and materials from other subjects. Language learning should be based in the main four C. C for content, C for communication, C for cognition, and C for culture. Content: progress in knowledge, skills, and understanding related to specific elements of a specific curriculum. Communication: using language to teach while teaching how to use the language. Cognition: developing thinking skills that link concept formation, abstracts and concrete, comprehension and language. Culture: exposure to alternative viewpoints and shared understandings that deepen awareness of otherness and selfhood. All four components are in continuous connection with each other. It is also important to remember that CLIL is primarily a subject-based teaching of general knowledge, not multilingualism. The latter is only an additional feature. The technique requires building a safe psychological climate in the classroom. Flipped classroom. Flipped classroom is a method of teaching English in which the student does homework before the lesson and only practices during the lesson itself. So he masters skills in two stages. On one's own, the student does his homework, analyzes small portions of theory, gets acquainted with new words and grammar, and completes interactive tasks. With the teacher, the student communicates with the teacher in English for 100% of the lesson, consolidates what he has learned in homework, overcomes the language barrier, completes speaking quests, and improves pronunciation. This type of teaching allows you to avoid wasting time in class trying to understand the rules. Instead, the student gets a lot of speaking practice and owns applied skills that will be useful to him in life. For example, he learns to speak without much thought, quickly select words, and correctly construct sentences orally. Storytelling. Storytelling is an approach that turns English learning into student-driven series. In courses with this methodology, each lesson is a mini story that is connected to others by a complete plot. During the course, the student gets to know the characters and helps them make decisions, or becomes the main character himself. This allows you to learn English not through standard tasks, but through real lives and fantastic situations. During the lessons, the student tries them on himself, gets acquainted with the vocabulary and grammar on the topic, completes plot tasks, and trains his speech. All this helps to improve your language level and not lose interest in learning. Storytelling makes learning fun. I compose programs using this method in such a way as to interest the student, involve him in the plot, and evoke emotions. This approach breaks the stereotypes about tedious lessons with a tone of theory and similar tasks. Case study. Case study, or case technology, is a method of teaching English in which students analyze real cases from world practice and learn the language in the process. Based on this approach, we have completed a business English course for specialists. In it, the student is introduced to a problem, analyzes it, proposes a solution, and then, together with the teacher, studies how it was actually solved. And all this is in English. This type of teaching allows you to simultaneously improve English and apply the student's other knowledge to solve a problem. I have designed the program so that while analyzing cases together with the teacher, the student can improve their language skills. Remember grammatical structure and use them. Learn new vocabulary on the topic of the case. Improve oral speech. Overcome embarrassment and language barriers. Improve pronunciation. Benefits of CLIL. The reason for the widespread and popularity of this approach is that it allows students to communicate more effectively with each other using a foreign language. Also, CLIL expands students' intercultural knowledge, trains communication skills in a foreign language in natural conditions, promotes the development of thinking and opens up the creative potential of students, increases students' motivation and self-confidence, trains all language skills and abilities, improves language competence and natural speaking skills, develops interests in different languages and their use in different areas of life, does not require additional hours of training. Let me tell you more about development of soft skills. Soft skills are qualities that help build healthy communication between people at work and in everyday life. According to a LinkedIn study of 5,000 entrepreneurs from 36 countries, 92% of employers consider soft skills to be as important as hard skills, or even more important. This suggests that a modern person cannot do without them if he wants to build a successful career and relationships with others. I have introduced the development of soft skills into the curriculum so that students can simultaneously immerse themselves in English and improve such skills. Course materials and assignments will help my students prioritize, think critically, develop emotional intelligence, public speaking, adapt to new conditions in life and at work, solve problems effectively, convince and lead people, fight stress, and much more. To develop these skills, I filled my program these special thematic tasks. For example, exercises in which the student must talk about a moment when he disagreed with someone and then discuss this situation with the teacher in English. Together with soft skills, such tasks help develop the student's speaking, vocabulary, writing, grammar, and pronunciation. Of course, I should mention personalized learning. Personalized learning is a technique that allows a student, together with a teacher, to build a unique program, one that is suitable only for him. Exercises with this approach help you achieve your goals, save time, and avoid wasting energy on less useful tasks. My lessons with new student starts with introductory lesson. On it, the student tells me about his goals and expectations from the course and then takes a test. Based on its results, the teacher finds out the student's language level and helps to customize the program. The student can choose the pace at which he's comfortable practicing, lessons and topics that are interesting and useful for him, number of homework and exercises in class. The teacher's task is to evaluate how well the parameters chosen by the student suit his goals. If they don't agree, I adjust the plan and offer other options. For example, if a student wants to study once a week, he will not have time to prepare for IELTS with 6.5 points at the intermediate level in a month. In this case, I will talk about the risks and propose a different plan, still comfortable but more effective.